Hey everybody, welcome to Sensible Psychology. My name is Blake Wamsley, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at how we can talk to kids about violence on TV. Now, a lot of us know that violence on TV is everywhere, but many of us might not know that it's actually linked to aggression. Ultimately, there are three main ways that violence on TV can promote aggression: imitation, desensitization, and hostile attribution bias. Imitation is just how it sounds, and that's if a child sees something repeatedly violent on TV, they're more likely to imitate it. Desensitization means that if a child sees repeated violence on TV, that they're less likely over time to have a strong reaction to it. The third thing is called hostile attribution bias, and what that means is that they're more likely to view social interactions that are unclear as hostile. So if a child sees somebody coming over to them and they don't know if it's a positive or negative interaction, they're more likely to view it with hostility. So now that we know the three main ways that TV violence can promote aggression in kids, what can adults do about it? The first is to make a critical comment about the violence. In a lot of studies that range back to 1968, children were exposed to violence and then were given three conditions. The first condition is that they had an adult near them say something positive about the violence. The second is that they had an adult nearby who said nothing. And the third is that they had an adult who said something negative about the violence. And after reviewing all of these studies, the authors concluded that one of the best things an adult can do if a child's exposed to media violence is that they can say something negative about the violence. They can say something like, "Whoa, that's not okay," or "That person should not have done that." Doing this can change the child's perspective about the violence on the TV. Now that they've heard an adult say something negative about it, they start to think about it in a different way too. Another fascinating trend that they saw amongst these studies is that children who were exposed to somebody who was neutral when something violent was happening tended to be just as aggressive as children who were exposed to an adult who said something positive about the violence. And that's because a child who's exposed to an adult who says nothing when something violent happens tends to think that it's okay. That's also why it's really important that if we hear something racist or bigoted, that we say something about it, because if we're being neutral, then people tend to think that we're okay with those statements. The second thing adults can do if a child sees something violent on TV is to encourage empathy for the victim. Doing this helps a child recognize that the person who was hit has feelings and has emotions, and when they do this, they start to learn, oh, well, that's not okay, and that I wouldn't want that to happen to me either. The third thing an adult can do requires a little more nuance and an understanding of the child's development, but it's to ask a question instead of making a negative statement about the violence. One study in particular found that making an explicit negative comment about the TV violence tended to be a better tactic for younger kids. But when the adult made a negative comment in front of an older kid, they ran the risk of what's called the backlash effect. And that's when a child starts to feel like they're talked down to and would be more likely to be aggressive afterwards. So with older kids, instead of making a statement, you might want to consider asking a question about the violence. An example could be something like, "What do you think about that person hitting the other person?" With older kids, that might make them feel more respected, and then that also gives the added benefit of them having to explain the rationale for what they saw. I hope these tips were helpful, and know that adults expressing disapproval of violence can go a long way. Like, subscribe, and comment below if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.